Ukrainian fighters organized an epic, explosive greeting for Russian soldiers on the occasion of Defender of the Fatherland Day, celebrated in Russia on February 23rd. 3 years into its so-called special military operation, Russia is struggling to present any real victory over Ukraine and NATO. Instead of a swift conquest, it faces a war of attrition, heavy losses, and a battlefield dominated by Western-supplied weapons. Sanctions cripple its economy, global influence wanes, and morale within its ranks continues to erode. Despite propaganda efforts, the reality is clear. Russia's ambitions have stalled, and the war it once sought to control now dictates its fate. The Vatniks seem to be in an incredibly depressive mood ahead of the 3rd anniversary of the meat grinder they unleashed. They say they desperately wanted a war to wake Russia up, but it simply ended up losing. Particularly telling are their attempts to find meaning in this defeat, saying that now they must raise the younger generation so they don't miss the next chance. That's why, if in that war, despite the heaviest defeats, despite the fact that the fascists reached Moscow and the Volga on June 23, 1944, 3 years after the war began, the Red Army launched a grand operation to liberate Belarus, codenamed Bagration, involving almost 1.7 million soldiers and officers, nearly 6,000 tanks, and over 5,000 aircraft, resulting in the liberation of all of Belarus, most of the Baltic territories, and the beginning of Poland's liberation by August 29th. Then, in the special military operation, 3 years after the start, we have what we have, not to mention the Kursk region. Perhaps 3 years ago, we all desperately wanted this war, this crisis, to wake our country up from a 30-year bad dream, to bring it to its senses, to make it start seriously fighting for the survival of its people, or at least the country, rather than for the well-being of certain outstanding individuals. We wanted this, and we did everything in our power to ensure that this awakening call of historical fate reached the right ears, that it was not lost. For some, it cost their lives. For others, their careers. For others still, their faith in themselves and in a bright future. But we did what had to be done. And yet, it seems we have suffered defeat. We have lost this battle. There is still a chance for victory in the special military operation, but the chance that it will heal or awaken Russia is gone. This means only one thing: we must live and raise the younger generation so that our motherland does not miss the next chance. We have only one, and we have no right to betray her, even if at times it feels as though she has betrayed us. Russian soldiers are inventing new punishment methods. Video shows 2 Russian servicemen tying up their colleague and waiting for a drone to greet him.
Я позывной малой. Меня случайно стрельнул. Человек с позывным Жан. Да. А Жана я фамилию отчество не знаю. Я понял, да. Третьяков Иван Александрович, позывной малой, 29.05.2002 года рождения. Родился в Свердловской области, город Каменск-Уральский. Мобилизован. Когда сидели на точке, я забоялся идти под птичку. Подгруженный. Прибежал обратно, откатился, то есть запятисотился. Когда сидел, Жан мне сказал: давайте задушить, чтобы ты откатился. Я сказал: я ему не буду это делать. Я говорю: давай ты меня, я в тебя. Я такой: нет. Он сидел рядом с 2 петуха. Там точка есть, шахматист, там задержать. Они так хотели делать. Он стрелял сюда из-за угла. Папа не предупредил, чтобы и попал в меня.
Какой вы там конвейер устроили с собой?
Хуя вы там, блядь, что, бабки не брали?
The United Nations General Assembly has adopted a resolution initiated by Ukraine and European countries. The resolution designates Russia as an aggressor state and demands the withdrawal of its armed forces from Ukraine within its internationally recognized borders. The document was supported by 93 states. The United States, Russia, Belarus, Israel, and several other countries voted against it. The US resolution, which didn't condemn Russian aggression, didn't pass. Congratulations. The United States aligned their policy with Russia and Belarus. The presidents of Finland, Latvia, Lithuania, and the prime ministers of Denmark, Estonia, Iceland, Norway, and Sweden have announced that they would provide equipment and training to the Ukrainian brigade. This is stated in a joint statement by the leaders of the countries. The Baltic and Scandinavian leaders also reaffirmed their unwavering support for Ukraine's independence, sovereignty, and territorial integrity. Our main priority is to strengthen Ukraine. We will further bolster our support. To achieve a just and lasting peace, Ukraine and Europe must take part in any future negotiations. Ukraine should be given strong security guarantees, the statement said. The countries pledged to further expand their support for Ukraine, in particular in the areas of air defense, ammunition supplies, and investments in the Ukrainian defense industry. The leaders also reaffirmed their commitment to supporting Ukraine on its irreversible path to full Euro-Atlantic integration, including membership in the EU and NATO. As previously reported, the Swedish government has purchased RBS-70 and Trident air defense systems for Ukraine for $113 million. The transferred systems should improve air defense capabilities, primarily against small air targets such as attack drones and cruise missiles. In addition, within the framework of international cooperation, Sweden will provide Ukraine with anti-aircraft missiles of the same type already used by the Ukrainian military, as well as additional anti-aircraft equipment for units on the front line. On February 23rd, it was reported that Estonia had provided Ukraine with a new military aid package, which included ammunition and food packages for the military. Estonia transferred 10,000 artillery shells to Ukraine as part of this military aid package. The aid package also includes 750,000 food packages for the military. The President of the Democratic Republic of the Congo has offered the United States and the European Union access to its mineral deposits in exchange for security support to deter Rwanda. In order to deter the aggression of the Rwandan-backed March 23rd movement militants, who are increasingly advancing in the east of the country, President Felix Tshisekedi has offered the United States and the European Union access to its mineral resources. The country has some of the world's largest mineral reserves, such as gold, tin, and tantalum, which are critical materials for the production of microelectronics and batteries. The country's coltan deposits account for most of the world's tantalum production. It also contains more than half of the world's reserves of cobalt, which is used in electric vehicles. Tshisekedi is pinning his hopes on Western pressure on Rwanda, hoping that large investments in Congo, including a possible minerals deal, will bring his country much more security and stability. He said the Trump administration had already shown interest in the deal. China now has far more access to Congo's mineral wealth than the United States, while the European Union has negotiated with Rwanda, agreeing to provide it with about $935 million in exchange for access to minerals such as tin, tungsten, and gold. Earlier this year, the paramilitary group of the March 23rd movement, also known as M23, began fighting in Eastern Democratic Republic of the Congo, rapidly seizing key cities and territories. After taking control of the small town of Sake, the Rwandan-backed militants launched an operation on April 27th to surround Goma, the largest city in the eastern part of the DRC, and Bukavu, the administrative center of South Kivu province. Having driven government forces out of the besieged border town on January 30th, the militants took control of key positions and the Mpumalanga airport, which was located in the middle of a building and was home to troops and Congolese warplanes. One of the successes of the rebels of the March 23rd movement was the capture of Congolese armored vehicles and artillery, in particular T-55 tanks, BAT-UMG armored vehicles, 122mm D-30 and M-30 howitzers, as well as the Bastion multiple rocket launcher system, which was purchased in Ukraine. However, the most significant trophy of the militants was a Su-25 attack aircraft based at the captured airport. Following these successes, the March 23rd movement continued its advance, attacking the main government positions on the road to Butembo, a town north of Goma.
Thanks for watching, and don't forget to subscribe. Also, if you want to support Warthog Defense, please become our member and get early access to new videos, exclusive members-only videos, and become administrator in comment section. The membership link is in the description.
Rescues every day. We had a guy last week at 6 rescues in 6 days. You know, he's doing the job every day.